The Perfect Mix, written by Clark Finney, illustrated by Gabby Flores. To my younger self, the path you're meant to travel doesn't come with a map, but every moment you choose to stay true to yourself is a confirmation you're heading in the right direction. To the reader, the next time someone asks, "What are you?" tell them, "I am the perfect mix." There once was a girl a lot like you. Her big round eyes more green than blue. And she had a smile as bright as the sun. She was sporty and smart, and she loved to have fun. Her long brown curls would bounce in the breeze, and if she played too rough, Mom to the rescue, she would tame them with ease. From the park to the beach, to the yard at her school, rain or shine, sunny or cool, she played and played, never out of fuel. And during the summer, she played in the pool. At August's end, she swam with her friends, Sheila and Tessa. The fun didn't end. They'd pretend to be mermaids in the ocean blue, slaying sea monsters and befriending a few. But when she ran out of air and needed to stand, her hair looked much different than it did on dry land. On the way home, it got dry and frizzy. Every rinse, scrub, and comb kept her mom pretty busy. Though the rest of her day was spent on a stool, her mom could fix it for picture day at school. The braids were tight and the twist had no slack, and by the end of the day, the frizz always came back. Her hair dried out and took forever to grow, so when her mom got too busy, she knew where to go. Lila could style like no stylist could, and she knew how to handle what no stylist would. She had irons and wands and the girls' full attention, and in her magical box, she had hair for extensions. The girl sat in her seat, feet dangling below. With each bead attached, hair started to grow. A new school, new grade, and new friends were on the way. She was more than prepared for this picture day. Her ash brown hair was the talk of the class, and her middle school photos were done in a flash. But when the first bell rang, as she opened the door, an extension slipped out and fell on the floor. "That's not your real hair?" Maisha yelled loudly. She stepped back and pointed a little too proudly. The girl's face turned red and her eyes grew wide. Her confidence faded and she wanted to hide. No matter her effort or how hard she tried, she ran to the bathroom and that day she cried. By the time she got home, her hair was a mess. She was disheveled, distraught, and clearly distressed. Her mother soon asked, "Sweetie, what's the matter?" Her hazel eyes brimmed, and she felt her heart shatter. "I hate my extensions," the little girl choked, her voice getting softer each word that she spoke. "I'll just wear it like this, in a tight little bun." In the fight against frizz, her hair finally won. She pulled her extensions, every last weft. She pulled, tugged, and twisted till her hair was left. When she looked in the mirror, she ignored how she felt. She would try to accept the hair she'd been dealt. At PE and practice and events after school, on weekends and playdates and days at the pool. No more stressing or fretting over her hair. When it was pulled in a bun, she began not to care. Years went on and the little girl bloomed, from her height to her face, to the way that she groomed. Hot combs and flat irons began a new phase, and she laid her hair straight for most of her days. On one such day, as she went for the door, she stepped into weather she didn't plan for. Straight turned to curly at a lightning speed rate. The mop on her head was making her late. She slicked and sprayed, sprayed and slicked, so that each piece of hair was straight like a stick. She couldn't leave home looking like a dodo, because in high school they take ID photos. At this new school, she kept her hair flat. When it came to extensions, there'd be none of that. The more hair she straightened, the more it would fray, becoming more challenging each passing day. The heat that she used would make her hair fry. Each time she pressed, she made her hair dry. But she could care less of the thread on her head, and for all she could care, it was better off dead. Even on days she was sweaty from practice, she'd wash dry and straighten before hitting her mattress. Her homework untouched while she stayed up all night. It was all worth it, though, if her hair looked just right. But one school night, she had a bad dream. She lost a big game and let down her team. She tossed and turned and tangled her sheets. While still in dreamland, she sweat in her sleep. When she woke up the next morning, she let out a scream, tucked snug in her bed and not with her team. She quickly jumped up and rushed to the mirror, then froze in her tracks when her vision grew clearer. Who she saw staring back made her let out an eek. She looked less like a girl and more like a sheep. If she didn't move fast, she'd miss the bus. So she jumped in the shower and started to rush. She grabbed her backpack and tried not to stress, but the whole ride to school, she felt like a mess. She made it in time with minutes to spare. She ran to her locker to check on her hair. What did she see? A head full of curls. She couldn't wait to show all of the schoolgirls. But when she saw Dustin, she froze in her steps. Out of all the boys, she liked Dustin the best. As he walked up the hill and in through the gate, the first words he said weren't very great. Your hair looks okay, but it's best when it's straight. I give up, she said with a shout. That was the last blow, and she'd been knocked out. Still a bit dizzy, she eventually came to. When she got up, she had a new view. Her opponent was hurt and exhausted too. She wasn't the only one left black and blue. The bounce that it had turned to a crawl, and curls turned to crinkles from their years-long brawl. The damage was done, and it came with a cost. At the end of it all, both fighters had lost. Her hair looked dead in its natural state, so from that point on, it had to be straight. As the years flew, high school came to an end. She packed up her bags and waved bye to her friends. She loaded her memories into a truck. But while she was driving, one memory stuck. She thought out loud while looking ahead, why do I still hate the hair on my head? She arrived at her dorm and jumped in her cot. With no answer, she sat and she thought. Yes, it was true. Her hair had grown longer, but with all of the straightening, it hadn't grown stronger. The thinking continued in her new space. While she was hunched over, hair fell in her face. She barely noticed she was twirling her strands, or that the answer to her question was right in her hands. Her curls had always been different from others. They were even more different than her father's and mother's. Then, out of shock, her hands flew in the air. If she was mixed like her parents, then so was her hair. The gels and sprays that made her hair dense weren't meant for her hair. It finally made sense. She rushed to the store to see what they had, but what she saw on the shelves made her feel sad. Not much had changed since she was a teen, and there weren't any products for her hair in between. Let's do this. She couldn't give up. She had done that before. She was tired of sweeping burnt hair off her floor. Without any solutions for a quick fix, she was dead set on finding the perfect mix. Straightening her hair had always been easy, but the products she used left her hair feeling greasy. The clear goop she had made all her curls icky. Her waves would get crunchy and her hands were left sticky. She had an idea. She combined a few. Maybe multiple products could create something new. She bought a gel, a balm, a cream, and a spray for her own concoction that she'd make the next day. Early that morning, she jumped in the shower with a new goal in sight. She felt a new power. She gently towel dried her soaking wet hair and took the first step on the road to repair. She lathered cream on each withered tress, and as her hair dried, it frizzed less and less. She then mixed a serum meant to add shine with a gel that could smooth any hair out of line. In disbelief, she saw her reflection. Her hair never dried this close to perfection. She now understood what she wished she had known in years of her youth before she was grown. The issue was never the hair itself. The root of the problem was in her hair's health. She didn't hate her hair, though it was hard to admit. She wasn't aware of the right way to love it. With each twist and fluff, the bad memories scattered, and the judgment from others no longer mattered. This time, instead of straightening her curls away, she was proud to let her natural hair stay. No more taming or fighting. She had a new plan. She would love, grow, and nurture every last strand, whether curly or straight or slicked with a part, blown dried or air dried, she'd follow her heart. It was never the hair that left the mark. It was the girl underneath it. And her name was Clark. She grabbed her new shoes and her favorite backpack. No matter the rush, her curls stayed intact. She wore the best dress, and with one less check, she was ready to conquer her best picture day yet. Sometimes, the most powerful story you can share is your own. The end.